basically born into it. Grandfather, I've got photos here of him back in the Shire days. He used to work in the Shire and he had horses and that in the Shire, which is, you're looking at probably the 1930s. And then, yeah, Dad was born in 1930 and he bought this place in 1960 and I've virtually lived for it ever since. I've grown up with it, didn't know any different, and grew up in an era when Welcome Advice, it was Australasian Horse of the Year and stuff like that, Inter-Dominions, and yeah, it was just, wow, how good's this? I was 5 when he won the Inter-Dominion and I can remember it all. So yeah, it was a passion right from the word go, and didn't know any different basically, didn't know any different.
Lord Glen, here's Welcome Advice flashing around them now and going very strongly and would appear to have the race in his keeping. They come to the turn, Lord Glen hard driven, Welcome Advice has moved easily up on the outside, and as they straighten for the run home, Welcome Advice has dashed clear of Lord Glen, then Earl Luca, and the others are a long way back, but it's all Welcome Advice in the straight, and down to the line he's careering away. It's all over. Welcome Advice bolts home to win easily. Welcome Advice first, Earl Luca second, Lord Glen third. Then
it was sort of a funny story in the fact that Dad got offered the horse originally, and but he'd heard that he'd trialled good around Ardlethan Show or something like that, and Russ Minchin, who owned the horse, sort of said, well, will you be able to train him? He goes, oh no, but his my father hasn't got any horses. He said, he'll take him for you. And he said, who drives his? And he goes, oh, I do. And he said, oh, that's as long as you're driving it. So yeah, but he was an amazing horse. Like grandfather, I think, was roughly around 67, 68 when he got him, and it added a lot of years to his life. And grandfather took him to 4 Inter-Dominions. He made 4 Inter-Dominion finals in a row. And even to us in this day and age, to have the logistics of all that to get horses to these places. And yeah, he started in New Zealand in the Inter-Dominion final, Sydney in the Inter-Dominion, Brisbane, and then Perth, 4 years running. So it was pretty amazing, and the fact that he could get him there and make all the finals, and back those days it was stand and start, so, and you're off the back line on small tracks with 24 yards and 12 yards, so he didn't really have much chance. But in this day and age, he could have won more than 1 Inter-Dominion. But yeah, he was an amazing horse. We used to have free-for-alls here at Junee back in that period, which, like I said, is the early 70s. And we had radio stations coming from all around Australia to set up that morning because you had a stellar group of horses here in the Riverina. We had horses like Paleface, obviously from Temora, Just Too Good. It was also Temora, Adius Victor. He came from Temora, and these were all Inter-Dominion horses. Just up the road at Bathurst, we had Hondo Grattan, and then Welcome Advice here, and Reichman would come up from Victoria. They were all Inter-Dominion horses, all within our virtually 2 or 3 hours away. So the free-for-alls were phenomenal, and I can remember as a little kid crawling in under the stipe stand to see the race, like, because you couldn't get near the fence. There was thistles in the paddock over here around our bottom bend. Next day the thistles were trampled 10, 12 feet back, where people could, just to get a look at these horses, would go into a paddock and walk through thistles to, I think it was $1, the saying was it was $1 a head to get in, and the gate was around $4,000 or $5,000 in gate takings, and they don't know how many would have got in for nothing. So then they had a few free-for-alls like that. So it was an amazing era that we'll never see in the country again. But yeah, it certainly lit the fire for me to see all that sort of stuff as a kid. Yeah, well, without Bernie, I probably don't drive a Group 1 winner. And maybe I don't have this facility, then I probably wouldn't have the love for the horses as much. But I suppose seeing that as a child, like I said, the success that Dad had had and grandfather and with those horses, and then to connect with Bernie, like Bernie being my godfather, and I went and worked for him for a period in the 80s, and then I started driving for him full time then, and he just kept producing the horses. So it was an unbelievable ride, and it sort of took me to places that I'd never went and seen things that I'd never see.
Bernie, another New South Wales Mare of the Year honour to Frith. That must make you very happy.
Very happy indeed, Greg. You know, she's been a marvellous mare. the time, right from 2-year-old right through. She's never been much trouble, and she's done a marvellous job.
Now, there was an announcement that the mare was going to go to Mark Purdon, but now she's back under your care at the moment?
Yeah, we've been. I've had her in and jogged her for 6 weeks, and now she's been hobbled for 2. And about another month she'll be sort of nearly ready to race, I'd say. But she'll probably go back to Bruce to finish her off, I'd say. I'll just keep working for another week or two, then Bruce will take her back over. She'll be nearly ready for him to put the pressure on her.
What do you think her main target will be this time? Are you looking at a Ladyship Mile?
Probably the Ladyship Mile, but I think at the end of the million time, I think there's a $100,000 mares race in Perth at the same time, and the chances are we might be interested in that if she's going good at the time.
And what about Bruce? How's he been with the news that Frith's coming back to him?
I think he loves it. I know he loves her. He spoiled her. He keeps her there, and she's knows the run of the ropes there, and has her out in the paddock all the time and looks after her well. He does a good job.
You've had some fantastic horses during your time. Is she the best?
Oh well, she's won the most money, but we've had a few good ones. I think Greg Kelly would have been the other than him breaking down. He won, I think, 17 from 18, and I don't think he should have got beat in that one. But anyway, she's won the most money. But we've had Lady Warrata, who was I think she was 2-year-old of the year and 3-year-old of the year, and won 2 APGs and 2 Breeders' Crowns, and there's not many of them do it.
And what about Jackie Kelly getting Broodmare of the Year? That must make you pretty happy too.
Oh, wonderful. She's a wonderful mare, though. Come from the mother, Miss Paula, and she's taking off where Miss Paula's left off. Although Miss Paula's still going, 25-year-old, and I've got a foal coming again this year from her.
We've had some rippers, no doubt about it. Miss Paula was the first of, and actually she probably came along just as I left Bernie's, but Bernie said to me that he had a nice filly that he wanted me to keep driving, and I drove a couple of hours to the trials to drive her, and yeah, I ended up, she won I think she got beat her first start, and then she won her next 7 straight, I think, after that. And yeah, it took me to Queensland, my first group race up there, the K Seymour, when she was a 2-year-old, which was a pretty big thing for Bernie too, to take that gamble. Like at that stage, I hadn't drove a heap of winners for Bernie, and he wanted me to go to Queensland and drive her, so she won the heat and final up there. So I sort of felt after that, surely he'll put me on for a while now when I'll be able to actually get her home up there. And they did continue from there, Miss Paula, and then Lady Warrata was another one. She won two Breeders' Challenge, Breeders' Crown finals and 2 APG finals, and then the real Miss Paula came along in the breeding barn with horses like Albert Kelly, which I've always said is my favourite horse, because he was just 100% versatile. You could do anything with him, and he was just a lovable horse. He just wanted to be your friend, and he went on the track and he grew another hand and just was a star. He won the Queensland Derby and the Vic Bred final. The next one, Greg Kelly, out of the same mare. He won 15 from 16 and won 300,000. Won the Australian Derby on him. The APG final on him. Was a real hard horse to start with, but turned into just a jet in the end. Then the horses, well, then obviously Frith come along. Dance for Rain was another one. I won a Vic Bred final on her. And then Frith, amazing. We won 6 Group 1s, 2 Breeders' Crowns, 2 Breeders' Challenge, Vic Oaks, Western Australia Oaks. Just an amazing horse to be. She's the one in a million that you think of. The others were good, but she went to another level. She was all of a sudden the best. It was not about being amongst the best. She was the best, if we don't count Adore Me in New Zealand. But anyway, that was another story. But yeah, and then and even my own horses, we've had a lot of fun with them. Dance for Maddie. Well, first actually go back to BJK. We bought off Bernie, and hence we named it after Bernie. We bought her for a couple of thousand, and she won 20 and produced 10 winners from 10 foals. Won $250,000, another one won 120,000. Now we're breeding from those mares, and they're producing. Only yearling we've ever bought at a sale. We paid 9,000 for Roses for Tash. She won 110,000 for us. First foal out of hers won 210,000. So yeah, even though I've had all the group horses with Bernie's, man, we've had some fun with ours as well. So, and the breed's getting better all the time. We've got a Art Major mare, and I'll have a Mach 3 mare in a few years, and out of that family. So yeah, and obviously Ruby's for Tash will go to stud now as well. Yeah, well, this whole complex here was virtually due to my late sister Jude and her husband Trevor. When my dad passed away in 2012, they sort of said to me, what are you going to do? We've got to start again. You can't really replace beams. That white ants had got into a lot of the stuff. And I said, oh, yeah, I suppose. And they volunteered to help, and I sort of worked out a design, and it just grew from there, and it turned out to something that I'm extremely proud of and can't be thankful enough for them to get it on, because I wouldn't have got it without them. And they used to tell me little bits at a time because they knew it would be too big for my little head to take in all the improvements they wanted to do. So they just do one and then go, now we're going to knock this shed down. I go, what? But yeah, I'm so proud of how it's turned out, and as I said, I spend more than half my life here, so and I love it every day. It's a love of a horse. I don't know, it's a connection that you've had. Like, we never had many holidays when I was young, and that, like, Dad was always doing horses, and I used to go on holidays with my sister every now and then, but never with Mum and Dad because they were always busy. I'd be horrified if I didn't see a horse that day when I was away. Like, I had to see a horse in a paddock. It was just like, you say it's a drug, and we can all say once it's in your blood, it's never out of it. This will horrify my wife because she go, oh, you're retiring at 60? I don't know. She goes with this, yeah, I'm retiring. But I will some Tash, I will, promise. But it's just the horse, that connection you have with them, and to see them improve. Like, I've always loved young horses. I'm not really that big on the old horses, and that's not my cup of tea. Like, all their ailments, I don't know how to fix them. I'll leave that to someone smarter than me. But young horses, they're a blank canvas. I've said this before. I said they can be a Picasso, or they can be a fingerprint painting from a school child. Like, who knows? But it's that dream of them being the one that makes you get up and do it and keep doing it. It's that passion that you have for it. You meet a hell of a lot of good people. You probably don't get to socialise as much if you're 100% in the game. If you're in it more for a hobby, you do, but unfortunately, I take everything a bit too serious at times, but I suppose that's aspire to be better, isn't it? That's part of it, but it's great. There's not a better feeling than getting a foal out on the ground out there and then seeing it mature and grow and become your mate, and then maybe win a race. That's what it's all about, and you feel like, and then you think back about the whole journey of that individual horse. So yeah, the connections are good with people, but it's more the connection with horses with me. And it's hard, and it's hard to make money out of, but I've always put it this way: it's what hobby doesn't cost you money. Breeder Group 1 winner, that's what's next for me. That's what I hope to do. I'm improving them in breed all the time, and I think they're getting a little bit better. I know you've got to be lucky to do it, but hey, look, it's fun. And as I said, we never had the breeding aspect of it. Like before Dad passed away, he didn't like the brood mares and foals and that here, but we love them here. I like watching them grow, and Jude, my late sister, and Trevor said that to me. There's nothing better than getting a young horse and watching it grow and becoming mates with it and breaking it in and that sort of stuff, and I agree 100%. So I'll keep doing what I'm doing. No doubt we'll have a few more days off. My two daughters are getting to that age now, and our eldest daughter's about to have our first grandchild, so that's pretty exciting, because like I'm the last of a generation in the Harpleys. Like, all the big names in our game, the Turnbulls, the Hewitts and all them, and the Maguires and the Pitts and Deebits and all those ones that I know, they've got generations to carry on. I'm the last of our generation, and which is a bit sad in one way, but maybe with a grandson not far away, I might get another chance to teach someone a bit about the game, hopefully. So I'll keep doing what I'm doing, and we'll have some fun with the family on the way.